Here's the beginning of our new unit. We're going to start off our first topic as two-way tables. So, we're going to, since we're not doing this in class, normally I collect the data in the exact classroom, but we're just going to have made-up numbers. For this first part, we're going to say there's a total of, well, we don't have to fill that in yet. But pretend we voted to figure out how many boys in our classroom actually earn an allowance, and 5 people raise their hands. Then the remaining boys will raise their hands saying, no, I do not earn an allowance, which is 4. And then I'd ask the girls the same thing, and let's say 4 girls raise their hand that earned an allowance, but 7 girls in the classroom do not earn an allowance. Okay, and that's the data we would have gotten. To figure out the total of students that earn an allowance, we would add up these two columns. 5 plus 4 is 9. To find the total number of students in the classroom that do not earn an allowance, we would add the second column. 4 plus 7 is 11. To find the total number of boys in our classroom, we're going to actually add horizontally. 5 plus 4 is 9. And figure out the total number of girls in the classroom. 4 plus 7 is 11. And then for the total of the totals, we should be able to add both boys and girls together, and those that earn an allowance and don't earn an allowance, and get the exact same number, which we do. We get 20. That's how to fill in the table. Now we can answer questions after we've filled in or completed the two-way table. So it's asking what % of boys earn an allowance. A lot of times when it's asking, it'll say like boys first. What % of the boys? That's going to be your denominator. We're going to create fractions, and I do need to see your fractions, and then your decimals, and then your final answer will be in a %, because that's what it's asking for, but I do have to see your work. So what % of boys earn an allowance? So of boys, we know there's 9 boys. That goes in the denominator. Of those 9 boys, what % of them earn an allowance? Well, it's 5 of them. 5 of boys earn an allowance. So we get our fraction of 5 over 9. Then you'll plug that into your calculator, do 5 divided by 9, which your calculator will give you 0.5555, and at least go out 4 decimal places. Because to change a decimal into a %, it's like multiplying by 100 or moving the decimal place to the right. And we've done that earlier this year. And normally I at least want you to go out 1 decimal place. So this will be 55.6%, because that's why we need 4 of them. Because this fourth number, looking at it, is 5 or bigger, so that means this 5 in front of it is going to round up to a 6, and it's 55.6%. Question number 2, what % are those who do not get an allowance? So again, normally what it is saying first will go in the denominator. What % of those who do not get an allowance? There's 11 total that don't get an allowance are girls. So the girls that don't get an allowance, see, girls, no allowance, that's the number 7. So girls that don't get an allowance over those who do not get an allowance. So then we divide, and we'll get 0.63636. And that will go on. But we really only need that far, because when we move the decimal place 2 to the right, we're going to get 63.6%. For number 3, what % of students earn an allowance? That's wanting the total number of students, so that's 20. So we're going to use the number from this box here of all the students. Then we want the % of students that earn an allowance. So everyone, whether it's boy or girl, see, we didn't specify, everyone that earns an allowance, that's 9 people. And we're always referring back to our chart and learning how to read it. So 9 divided by 20 will actually become 0.45. It'll be nice in your calculator. Change the decimal to a percent, and we have 45%. Last one for this specific two-way table is what percent of students are girls. So again, we're wanting of all the students, which there's 20 students in this classroom, and are girls, we want the total number of girls. We don't care about the allowance or no allowance. We just want to know what percent of students in the classroom are girls. So that's going to be 11 over 20, which will get 0.55. When you move the decimal place 2 to the right, we get 55%. Okay, so normally we would also fill in this second table by asking everyone in the class to raise their hand whether they like swimming or hiking better. So we're going to say when we voted, 6 girls liked swimming better than hiking. 4 girls liked hiking better than swimming. 2 boys liked swimming better than hiking, and 7 boys liked hiking over swimming. So then we get our totals. So the number that preferred swimming over hiking was a total of 8 plus 2, which is 10. The total of people that liked hiking over swimming was 4 plus 7, which is 11. And then we also want to find the total number of girls. See how it just relates to the box. So total number of girls is 8 plus 4, which is 12. Total number of boys is 2 plus 7, which is 9. And this time when we add, we get a total number of 21 students. I just wanted a different number just to give variety. So obviously my data is coming from 2 different classes, and it is not accurate because I didn't survey anyone. Okay, so with number 1, what percent of girls enjoy hiking? Create our fraction. What percent of girls prefer or enjoy hiking? So first, girls, we want the total number of girls, which is 12. That will go in the denominator. And then of the girls, how many enjoyed hiking? There's 4 girls that liked hiking. So we have 4 over 12. Divide that in your calculator, you will get 0.3 repeating. So then when we change this into a percent, we will get 33.3%, and at least go out to the tens place. Just unless it says so differently in the directions, just go out to the tens place or 1 decimal point. Second question, what percent of students enjoy swimming? So we want total number of students in the denominator, which this time is 21, enjoy swimming. So notice it doesn't say girls or boys, so it's all those that enjoyed swimming, which is 10 out of 21. 10 divided by 21 is 0.47619. Change to a percent will be 47.6%. Okay, number 3, what percent of hikers are boys? So of those that enjoyed hiking more, that's 11 of them, that goes in your denominator. And we're in the hiking column, and we want to know about how many boys. So we want 7 over 11, which will get us our 0.63636, which we change to a percent to get 63.6%. And the last question on this page is what percent of swimmers are girls? So we are wanting those that chose swimming, so that's 10, that goes in the denominator. And of those swimming, our girls is 8. 8 divided by 10 is 0.8. We still move the decimal place twice. You'll have to fill in that 0 to get 80%. Feel free to pause or re-watch the video at any time. But now let's go to the back. Sometimes you'll have to fill in the table a little bit more. So below is a two-way table that shows the number of freshman girls and freshman boys that are passing world history. There are currently a total of 78 freshman boys and 60 freshman girls enrolled in the course. We know that of those boys, 62 are passing history. But we also know that there were 78 freshman boys enrolled in the course. So if we know there's 78 boys in the course and 62 are passing, can't we subtract to figure out that 78 minus 62 is 16 that are failing? Okay, we are given that 57 girls are passing history and there's 60 girls in the class. That leaves 3 that are failing. And then we start to add them up. 62 plus 57 is 119. 16 plus 3 is 19. And then we add across. 62 plus 16 is 78. 57 plus 3 is 60. And whether we add 119 plus 19 or 78 plus 60, we should get 138. And that's a good way to check to make sure you've filled in the table right, because if one of them's off, then something is wrong and you need to fix it. But once your table's filled in, and that's when you can start answering the questions. So what percent of boys are passing world history? We're just talking about the boys. That's going to be in the denominator. So the total number of boys is 78. That's in your denominator. And we want those that are passing. That's going to be your 62 boys that are passing. 62 divided by 78 is 0.79487. I'm just going further so that I don't have to round. And then when you move the decimal place 2 to the right as you're multiplying by 100, changing a decimal to a percent, you get 79 point. And notice we're going to look at that next number. That 8 is 5 or bigger, so that 4 will actually become a 5, and don't forget your percent. Okay, number 2. What percent of girls are passing world history? So what percent of girls are passing world history? The first, we want the total number of girls. So we're 60. So pretty much we're not talking about boys, we're just in this girls row right here. That's all we're going to do. And we want passing, so that's 57 out of the 60 students. So when you divide that, you get 0.95. Move the decimal place and you get 95%. Now for number 3, what percent of students are failing world history? That's wanting all the students. That's your 138. And we want those that are failing. Notice it didn't say boys or girls, so we're in the total failing part, and that's 19 out of the 38. 138, sorry. That'll give you 0.13768. And when we move the decimal place to the right 2, we get 13 point, well, the 6, we'll make the 7 round up to it, 8. And we add our percent. At any time, pause this and try to figure out the next one on your own. The more you can do, the better. But as we're continuing, what percentage of all students passing history? So notice this is all students that are passing history, just not all students, but all students that are passing history. So we don't want the 138 this time. We want those all students that are passing, which will be our 119 in our denominator. Then we're wanting that are boys. So boys that are passing history is 62. 62 divided by 119 is 0.5210. So when we move the decimal place, we should get 52.1%. What I would recommend is pausing. Try the last one on your own and then watching the video. Skipping ahead if you want to look at all the answers and then go back to listen to whichever one or ones you need. Okay, so if we add up all the water, or the the freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors that prefer water, there's going to be 849 of them. While the freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors that prefer pop, it's 1,402. Why they prefer pop? Who knows? Water is so much better. But that's my opinion. I would be over here in the water column, but I'm not a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, so I don't count. Okay, so with this, we wanted to know how many freshmen total there were. 250 plus 361 is 611. For sophomores, 246 plus 340 is 586. There's 562 juniors that were surveyed and 492 seniors that were surveyed, making whether we add up this column or this row should be 2,251. If you get a different number, make sure you fix something because it's wrong. Okay, then what percent of freshmen drink water? Notice we're wanting what percent of freshmen drink water. So we just want the total number of freshmen in the denominator, 611, and we want those that drink water. So 250. So 250 divided by 611 will give you the decimal of 0.409165. And you're going to move the decimal place over twice to get 40.9%. The 1 was less than 5, so the 9 stayed a 9. What percent of all students are freshmen who drink pop? So this is all students. So in the denominators, the 2,051 are all students. And the R, a lot of times separate it, so you can kind of read it that way. So what percent of all students are freshmen who drink pop? And we want the freshmen who drink pop. So freshmen, zoop, pop, zoop. That's 361 that goes in the numerator. Then you will divide. And get the decimal of 0.16037. Move it 2 to the left, and we get 16.0%. And still round, since the decimal is not ending and we're rounding to the tens place, I do want you to put the 0 there. That would be misleading, and that would be exactly 16% if you didn't put the 0, but no, it's not exactly 16%. But rounded to the tens place, there needs to be a 0. Okay, what percent of all pop drinkers are freshmen? So we just want all pop drinkers. That's the total, that's all, of pop. That goes in the denominator, your 1,402. So of those pop drinkers, we're just in this column, we want the freshmen, 361. Oops, 361. So we have 361 divided by our 1,402 is going to be 0.257489. But we only need to round to one decimal place, so 25.7%. Okay. What percent of those who drink water are, remember R's are separated, so those who drink water, that's in our denominator. Water drinkers, there's 849. And notice it says juniors or seniors. We just have the juniors number and the seniors number, but we want both of them. So we're going to have to add the 204 and the 149 to get 353 over the 849. So they can ask a huge variety of questions, and you just have to read and be able to answer. So we have 353 divided by 849 to get 0.41578 when we move the decimal place 2 to the right to change a decimal into a percent because it's asking for percent. We're going to get 41 points. Well, this 7 is 5 or bigger, so we'll round the 5 up to a 6 and be 41.6%. Now, if you feel comfortable, start the homework. If not, rewatch part of the video. Try some on your own.